So yes, I was talking about the B-17 and its genesis. There was a tender set out by the United States Army Air Corps in August 1934. They wanted a bomber that's going to be able to fly 10 hours, speed of at least 200 miles per hour. Three manufacturers entered that race. There was Douglas, Martin, and of course Boeing. And there was a kind of fly-off being planned at Dayton, Ohio. And it has to be said that the Model 229 of the made by Boeing absolutely won hands down, because it could actually fly more like 250 miles an hour, could do more like 2,000 miles, and carry a bigger bomb load. And it was also comparatively armed to the teeth, although not as armed to the teeth as it would be when it was first flying over Seattle, Boeing's home base. There was a journalist called Richard Williams of the Seattle Times, and he was the one who said, "Gee, look at that, it's a flying fortress," and the name stuck. But it's so modern for the age in which it was built. It first flying end of July 1935. Of course, became the mainstay of the United States Army Air Corps and then Army Air Force throughout the Second World War. P-29 came in towards the end of the war, but P-17 produced all the way, and of course was the mainstay of the mighty 8th Air Force, as well as the 15th Air Force in Italy. And just a phenomenal aircraft. Again, could take huge amounts of punishment. But also, as anyone who's seen Masters of the Air will know, it was lethally dangerous too.
Bandits, 12 o'clock, 10 meters. So I think B-17 is just pulling away from the P-47. We were meant to have 4 P-51s, but I'm looking along the flight line, I can still see one unfortunately sat on the ground. So I've only counted 3 airborne so far. They are going to join up and give us a nice set piece shortly, as you see John Romain and Dave Williston taxi out in their Bouchons.
I think 3 P-51s should make short work of the Bouchons though.
So how old do you think the film Memphis Belle is, James?
Well, I actually remember going to that, seeing that in a cinema in Poole when it first came out. So I reckon it was 1989?
It was 1990, which makes me feel incredibly old.
I actually watched it again not very long ago. And I have to say, I thought it really, really held up. I think it's a terrific film.
It's a brilliant, amazing film. The Bombay doors open on Sally B there, just as just giving us a belly side pass. Now, it always amazes me just how small the bomb...
2.5 tons, something like that, whereas a Lancaster at a push could do 10. On the other hand, they are designed for slightly different roles. B-17 is predominantly a daylight bomber,
Hence the
bigger
crew.
which is why it's got 13 50 caliber machine guns on it. All that extra protection, of course, that adds a huge amount of weight, which then was a payoff with the amount of bombs it can take. The Lancaster is, I mean, the B-17 is a tin can. It certainly is when you're in it, but the Lancaster is really a tin can. And the nods to crew comfort are pretty small in both, but especially so in a Lancaster. No ventral turret on a Lancaster, even though most night fighters, Luftwaffe night fighters, are attacking from underneath with their Schrager music, their cannons pointed upwards, so very, very underprotected. But the underprotection means they can take more bomb load, so it's a payoff. But that's why nearly 50% of all those who flew in Bomber Command didn't make it home. it's always a payoff. I remember talking to a crew member that I think he was it was either the navigator or the bombardier, I can't remember, on a B-17 that was initially earmarked for the 8th Air Force, came over in 1942, was then sent to Northwest England. How can anyone say that's ugly dark? Honestly, it's just fabulous, isn't it? A beast, but a beautiful beast.
That way as I can get to.